Neil Sedaka is here with a career that has taken him from his classical roots to a rock and roll singer-songwriter for over 5 decades. Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, Happy Birthday, Sweet 16, Calendar Girl, Oh Carol, Love Will Keep Us Together, and Bad Blood just begin to scratch the surface of his historic songwriting ability. At age 8, Sedaka began playing piano and attended the Juilliard Prep School. In 1956, while he was a student at the Abraham Lincoln High School, Neil was chosen as one of the best 7 New York high school classical pianists by the great Arthur Rubinstein, which led to his being awarded a scholarship to the prestigious Juilliard School of Music. Also around that time, Sedaka formed his band, The Tokens. In the late 50s, he inked a contract to pen his sophisticated pop tunes in the famous Brill Building in New York City, where he was surrounded by the writers Neil Diamond, Paul Simon, Jerry Goffin, and Carole King. In fact, Neil wrote Oh Carol for King, who had been his former girlfriend. Also in '58 came the international classic hit for Connie Francis, Stupid Cupid, which he composed and played piano on. By 1963, Neil Sedaka had sold more than 25 million albums. The compilation Sedaka's Back from the mid-'70s gave us a #1 hit, Laughter in the Rain. Elton John made the offer to sign Sedaka to Elton's Rocket Records label in the United States, and in '75 came the album The Hunger Years, which produced a duet with Elton and another #1 hit single, Bad Blood, along with the recorded version of Breaking Up Is Hard to Do as a ballad. That single made Billboard magazine history when it reached the top 10, becoming the only song of 2 versions to be a hit twice by the same artist. His composition, Love Will Keep Us Together, not only was a multi-million seller for Captain and Tennille, but also became the most broadcasted song in the United States in 1975 and won a Grammy Award for Record of the Year. Add to the list that he was the first artist to gain 6 BMI awards for 400,000 annual airplays per song on radio, and BMI listed Breaking Up Is Hard to Do as one of the 50 most performed songs of the 20th century. Sedaka has written his autobiography, Laughter in the Rain, My Own Story, and will be featured this coming fall on A&E's biography series. A star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and his induction into the Songwriters Hall of Fame prove to you he is a songwriter of historic proportions, and I am pleased to be joined by Mr. Neil Sedaka. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Litch. How do I follow that?
You did it all, let me tell you. There is a reservoir of history there. Nice to have you.
Thank you.
I want to start with this. Do you think of yourself as a singer, as a singer-songwriter, as a musician, as an entertainer?
It's a threefold career of singing, songwriting, and piano playing. It's actually, the songwriting came when I was 13 years old, and the singing didn't come until I was about 19 years old.
Really?
But the voice is a vehicle for the writing. If somebody else wants to cover the record after my first version, good luck. I hope they do well.
And what's the difference between the musician, the singer-songwriter, the entertainer?
To perform live, Litch, is a great thrill. It's an immediate response, immediate recognition. To get a standing O is a great feeling. After 45, 46 years, it's still an adrenaline high.
Oh, very stimulating.
It's very stimulating. The songwriting is the greatest annuity. It will hopefully last longer than me. The songs will outlive me. The idea that I can go around the world and reach people, no matter what language barrier, is a great thrill. I was one of the first to do 5 languages at the beginning of the career. So I'm pretty good in all of the 5 languages.
Now, when you sit down to compose, do you start with a thought, an idea, a lyric, the melody, maybe some chordal changes? Where does it begin?
I start with a beat on the piano and chord changes. For instance, I would go in the key of F, I want to be in this feel. I like Latin music a lot. And then I want to go to this chord eventually. So I'll start with a chord scheme and a beat on the piano, and then I will improvise with my voice, trial and error. Ba 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 ba. And I want to go to ooh, beep beep beep.
right.
That's really it. And after the chord scheme and the melody, I will put the words to it. I have collaborated with some great lyricists, but I'm much happier when I write my own lyrics because it comes from my soul.
It's cathartic.
Absolutely. It's a therapeutic experience.
What does writing give you, the feeling it gives you?
Good question.
Thank you.
That I have created something that not only I am pleased with, but that the public is pleased with. It's wonderful to write something in the privacy of your living room, and it could be a great piece of art. But if you don't reach the masses, to me, you failed. I am a commercial person. To me, if it doesn't sell, I mean, I've had very fine records that didn't sell that I'm proud of. I call them the forgotten children, the neglected children.
It's an interesting way of looking at it. It's interesting.
But to me, the culmination is when you can reach Italy, South America, Japan, UK, and you're, you know what I thought was good on the piano, they agree.
Musical geography for the masses. Mr. S., from your hands to the vocal, how do you characterize your voice, or characterize your voice for me?
It's a melodic voice. It's a pleasant musical voice. It's a musician's voice. It has vulnerability. It has emotion, passion. It has, when I did Calendar Girl in the old days, they said, you sound so happy. You sound like you were on the top of the world, and I was. I mean, the house could be burning down, and I could be writing, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Howie Greenfield, rest his soul, used to say to me, my God, the house could be burning down. There could be an earthquake, and you'll be, oh, really? Tra-la-la-la-la-la. I sounded happy, and I was happy, and basically I have an inner peace.
Did you get a sense when you would sit down and write those songs, did you get a sense that you were writing something special right then and there?
Absolutely, because there was a lot of dreck. I mean, there was a lot of things that wound up in the waste paper basket. I did. When I wrote Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, I knew it. When I wrote Laughter in the Rain, I knew it. Absolutely. Of course, it depends on promotion, PR, record company, where they put you in the shop window, where your bin is, how much money they're putting behind. Today, the marketing is like 80%.
Right.
But if you have a good song, and then a good record, and then a record company that will take a shot.
Elevate you. You're the artist. You're creating art, but you need them as a vehicle to catapult or elevate you, if you will.
Absolutely.
So it does touch all the other people.
Absolutely. If it was not for Steve Scholes and RCA Victor at the beginning of my career, distributing the records, it wouldn't maybe not have happened. If it wasn't for Elton John in the 70s with his record company and being my mentor, perhaps it wouldn't have happened.
Speak to that collaboration, how you two came together.
I met Elton in London. I think it was a Bee Gees concert, and we had a mutual admiration. I was a very big fan, and he was a very big fan of my early records. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm recording with a group called the 10cc's in Stockport, England. And he said, let me hear them. He came over to my flat in London. He said, these are really good. You know, these are as good as Carole King. He said, I want to promote these on Rocket Records. I said, great. So we put out an album called Sedaka's Back. They were first to hit in England. It's a good place for me. I lived there for 3 years. And then he brought it over the pond to America, and lo and behold, after 10 years of being off the charts, I had a big record.
Mutual admiration said you have a songwriter and a songwriter appreciating each other's talents and expertise, if you will.
We both started as pianists. We are both basically melodists. We both had kind of sheltered childhood. And this makes for it, yeah.
And you're talking about Sedaka's Back. Great CD.
Yes, they put
Great
me
CD.
in a real mafia-looking pinstripe suit with the cigar and the red hat. And I had 4 or 5 hits from Sedaka's Back.
Which led to this disc, The Hungry Years.
Correct. The Hungry Years. They still ask for that title track, The Hungry Years.
Great, both great CDs. Now you mentioned Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, and I want to stay with this CD for a moment. What was the catalyst to get you to take such a great song that you originally wrote up-tempo, and I absolutely adore the ballad version. How did you come to turn it around and record this version?
Lenny Welch was a good friend, and he had just had a record called Since I Fell for You.
I remember it well.
And he came to me and said, do you have any kind of ballad that I can follow up Since I Fell for You? And I was fooling around at the piano one day, and I came up with, don't take your love away from me. And I played it for Lenny Welch. He said, oh my God, that's marvelous. He said, is that the same Doobie-Doo song? I said, yes. I loved Dinah Washington. She was my, for me, a great inspiration.
Lady with the Blues.
She was a great inspiration. And I said, you know, Lenny, I love Dinah. Do it like Dinah would phrase it. And I did it for him. And he made the record. It was a top 20 R&B record. I think it was top 30 on the pop charts. And then I started to do it as a closing number, as a ballad in my show. And people said, you know, we like that. That's a good version.